Here's why you play Hanabi, the Scarlet Flower in the Gold Lane. First off, she has amazing damage potential thanks to her bouncing basic attacks and powerful area control. Hanabi possesses high survivability due to her shield mechanic, which also makes her immune to crowd control while it's active. Her skills also excel in team fights, dealing sustained damage and controlling enemy movement. However, she has limited mobility, making her vulnerable to high mobility enemies, and she is very item dependent, requiring a strong early game farm to reach her full potential. Hanabi's passive ability, Ninjutsu Petal Barrage, allows Hanabi's basic attacks and skills to unleash petal blades that bounce between enemies, hitting up to 4 targets. Each bounce deals progressively less damage, but they retain a portion of attack effects. This passive allows Hanabi to deal consistent area damage during fights, especially against clustered enemies. Hanabi's first skill, Ninjutsu Equinox, gains a shield that absorbs damage and makes her immune to crowd control for 5 seconds. While the shield is active, she gains increased movement speed, attack speed, and converts a portion of her damage dealt into additional shield points. This skill boosts Hanabi's survivability and lets her sustain during fights. Hanabi's second skill, Ninjutsu Soul Scroll, throws a kunai in a straight line, dealing damage to all enemies it hits and slowing them. Enemies' hits are marked, amplifying Hanabi's bounce damage against them with no decay. Use this skill to slow enemies and maximize her passive damage potential. Hanabi's ultimate, Forbidden Jutsu Higanbana, throws a flower that immobilizes the first enemy hero it hits, and after a short delay, the flower blooms, dealing damage to nearby enemies. Additional hits on the same target will deal reduced damage. This skill is perfect for crowd control and initiating team fights. Moving on to builds, I usually build Swift Boots, Corrosion Scythe, Demon Hunter Sword, Golden Staff, Wind of Nature, and Malefic Roar. These are the emblems that go along with this build. As for battle spells, the best spell for Hanabi in my opinion is the Aegis, as it provides an additional shield, enhancing her survivability. Hanabi counters heroes reliant on crowd control such as Tigreal and Bellaric because of her first skill, which makes her immune to CC. However, she struggles against burst damage heroes like Lancelot and Zulong, who can quickly deplete her shield and health. She synergizes well with initiators like Carmilla and Atlas, who can lock enemies down, enabling Hanabi to deal massive area damage. She should upgrade her second skill at level 1 and prioritize maxing it for increased damage and utility. Her first skill should be upgraded second for survivability, and always level up her ultimate whenever it's available. Hanabi thrives in team fights where her passive can maximize damage against clustered enemies. Focus on farming early game to secure core items, as she is heavily item dependent. Use her second skill to slow enemies before engaging and follow up with her ultimate to lock them down. Always activate her first skill when engaging in fights or when there's a risk of being controlled. Positioning is key. Stay behind your front line and let your passive deal damage while remaining safe. In the late game, Hanabi becomes a powerful threat capable of carrying the team, so play cautiously until she's well equipped.